Now, this next new biome may freak some of you out if you have thalassophobia, because it's dark and it's very deep underwater. This is the Abyssal Chasm. If you are brave enough to venture down into the depths of the sea, you will come across new life surrounded by muck and darkness. You may also find some strange blocks whilst exploring, including ping pong sponge, sea anemones, and more. You may come across some distressing things as well, where there are long and ancient skeletons of sea creatures and other beasts, which bone worms can be seen inside and around them. Sea worms can also be seen on hydrothermal vents, with some great undersea mounts. Be careful when you linger down there, as you may not be the only being in that area. You may find some valuable resources when exploring the Abyssal Chasm, which may prove quite useful to you. These are mussels and can be seen growing on blocks in this biome. They can spread and multiply over a series of blocks, but they will grow faster on any logs. Mussels can be cooked, and when cracked open, they have a chance to drop a pearl, which can be used to create an abyssal altar. A sea glass shard is another resource that can be gathered from the depths of the Abyssal Chasm when you break muck. This can be created into normal glass, or a new type of glass called depth glass. This will allow you to see better underwater when looking through it. This tiny creature is known as the lanternfish, and is the smallest mob that you can find in the Abyssal Chasm, with 2 hearts of health. They don't appear alone most of the time, however, as they can be seen in shoals. You'll be able to spot these fishy creatures much better than some of the other mobs in this biome, as little lights will glow from their body. If you don't have a map to show you the way to Abyssal Chasms, you may want to look out for lanternfish at night, because they will rise to the surface. If you kill a lanternfish, they will drop lanternfish, which can be eaten raw or cooked. You can also catch them in a bucket of water. This next sea creature is known as the sea pig, and can be seen rummaging through the muck, looking for something to eat. They are gelatinous, so can be hard to spot, as they are slightly transparent. It has 8 health, but can be killed for it to drop sea pig, which can be eaten. However, this will poison you, so it may not be the best plan of action. If you feed it muck, a clay ball, or mud, it will begin to digest it. During this time, they can produce clay and muck, but it can also drop bone meal, sea glass shards, pearls, and marine snow. If you want to take this with you, you can do so with a water bucket. This is the gossamer worm. This mob has 10 health and can be seen floating through the Abyssal Chasm with its blue glow. These are prey of the Hullbreaker, so make sure to be aware of them when you are close to the worm. You'll see why I say that a bit later. You can capture these creatures in a water bucket, or if you want to kill them instead, they can drop bioluminescence. This next fish is the tripod fish, and is commonly found on the seafloors of the Abyssal Chasm. They are referred to as quite bizarre creatures, but I guess a lot of these new fishy creatures are quite strange. They are pretty quick and dodgy swimmers, but if you do manage to kill one, it can drop tripod fish. This can be cooked and eaten, or you can capture it instead with a water bucket. This very creepy looking mob is known as the Deep One, and from the look of it, you may think that it is hostile. Well, let me tell you that they are quite neutral, just a little bit wary of strangers from the surface world. They can follow and stalk the player, but will flee if spotted. They mean no harm, so don't attack them, otherwise your reputation with the Deep Ones will decrease, where they may start to become hostile towards you. I say your reputation, as they live in a syncretic society. If you corner it, it can throw an ink bomb and disappear from sight, so try to avoid doing that if you can. Where you can decrease your reputation, you can also increase your reputation, and you will be rewarded for your friendliness. You can do this by obviously not being hostile towards them, and also placing a pearl on top of an abyssal altar. This can initiate an exchange of goods, which will slowly and gradually improve your reputation. They may start to sell you even more valuable goods, like sponges, sea glass shards, and a gazing pearl. Once your reputation with them has increased to a point, they will no longer flee from you, and may assist you in combat if you get into trouble. They are pretty good with their 30 health and 3 attack damage. This next mob looks a lot similar to the Deep One, and that's because this is another type of Deep One from the society, called the Deep One Knight. This guy looks a lot more buff than the usual Deep One, and with good reason. With 5 attack damage and 60 health, Knights will usually carry around their trident, or the author lance, which they will use against any hostile. The Deep One Knight can be traded with the same way the Deep One can, but will trade different items based around melee combat. This can include the author lance, tridents, armor, prismarine, and a magic conch. The final member of the Deep One is the Deep One Mage, and this is the healthiest with 80 hearts of health. They can attack with the heart of sea buried within their heads by sending out bolts of water with 4 attack damage. They can also travel out of water by creating a bubble, from which they can float around it. They can also summon a barrage of waves to destroy multiple enemies at a time. The Mage can also drown adventurers in bubbles if they wish to. The Mage can be traded with, like the other Deep Ones, and can include more ocean type items, both common and rare. These can be Nautilus shells, bottles of enchanting, and a sea staff. Occasionally, you may come across some mine guardians in some Abyssal Chasm ruins, and these are mobs that are chained to the seabed. They are hostile because if you can see it, their eye will open rarely to scan for any potential targets it can blow up, including the player. When they get close enough, it will float towards it and explode, dealing up to 15 damage. It's best to kill these guys right away as they have 20 health, otherwise they may get to you first. If you do get to kill them, they can drop a depth charge. This can be used to create a small explosion to destroy blocks above and below water. This nightmarish monster is called the Hullbreaker, and you may get the name it is being given when you see how big it is. This fish is over 15 blocks long, and it will be attracted to eat any glowing mob or entity. It can either use its head to smash its potential food, or grab and snap it in its mouth. This mob has 400 health and can deal 14 attack damage. Make sure anything that glows or emits some sort of light is turned off or away from you, as it will make it harder to spot you, and you have an increased chance of escaping. Occasionally, you will see it circles its prey to investigate it, whilst also flashing its many lights on its body. If you do get your chance and defeat it, you will be rewarded with anything it has previously eaten, including ink sacs and even an enigmatic engine. If you do have a submarine and you detect a Hullbreaker, the best thing to do is turn off every light and let it pass, but we'll go on to these vehicles a bit later. This item is the deep sushi roll and can be crafted with most of the fish that are found in the Abyssal Chasm. Marine snow is produced by sea pigs as they digest the item you gave it, and this can be used to bring dead coral back to life. Not only this, it can also produce sponges when used on sponge, and help other sea life overall, which is pretty useful. Bioluminescence can be used in brewing to create a potion of glowing, but it can also be used in crafting to make a floater. When used, this will allow the player to reach the surface of the sea in seconds. Another item you can craft with the bioluminescence is bioluminescent torches that glow underwater. This is the diving suit, and can be worn as armour. It can be seen on Drowned, which you have a chance to gather this from, as well as Abyssal ruined chests. When you put the helmet on, it will grant you water breathing. The chest plate is there mainly for protection and toughness, while the leggings give you better swim speed. Finally, the boots can give you extra speed when you walk on mud blocks. This is the submarine, and this vehicle can be found in disrepair in Abyssal ruins occasionally. You can fix up the submarine with copper ingots, and any oxidization can be removed with an axe. Once it is fully repaired, it can be piloted with spotlights, making it much easier to move in the deep dark depths of the abyss. This is considered the safest way to travel through the sea, as it also provides air so you don't always have to wear the diving suit. If you cannot find a submarine, you can actually create one, but it will require 20 copper blocks, an enigmatic engine, and 6 depth glass blocks. You will need to place them like so, and then when you place the last block, it will automatically change itself into a submarine. This next utility is the drain, and can be crafted with depth charges and a few other items. This is a means of draining a section of liquid. All you need to do is put the drain so that it is below liquid, and ensure there is a big empty space below it, so that you can drain all of it into it. Now, all you need to do is a redstone signal, and it will start to drain. Some unique items you can get from trading with deep ones are ink bombs and glow ink bombs. When thrown, they create a pool of ink and can inflict blindness, but the glow ink bombs can also inflict glowing. The glow ink bomb is great to get an attention of a Hullbreaker, but make sure you don't throw it on yourself, otherwise you could make yourself glow and be susceptible to being attacked by it. The Gazing Pearl is a useful item to have when held in the Abyssal Chasm. This is because it shows you how the Deep One's mood is towards you. The Author Lance is a melee weapon that can gain a powerful charge when you hold the attack button down. When using the charge attack, it will leave a trail of waves behind you, which can deal additional damage. The Magic Conch is a very useful item which, when used, will summon deep ones to aid you in combat against your enemies. This doesn't have to be blown in the Abyssal Chasm, but anywhere in the world. Make sure to use this when you need to though, as they won't stay for very long. This is the Sea Staff, which will fire magical bolts rapidly towards your enemies. This attack will also arc to any nearby monsters, which makes this very useful. This potion is called a Potion of Deep Sight, and this can be created when you brew a lanternfish with an awkward potion. This will greatly increase your visibility in water, and using a night vision potion with this can make the ocean even more visible. Beyond the Sea is obtained after entering the Abyssal Chasm. Shell City is obtained once you locate and get close to an abandoned underwater base. Those Aren't Balloons is earned once you kill a Mind Guardian. The Cyclops is earned once you obtain the entire diving suit armor. Captain Nemo is obtained once you enter a submarine. Buff Out Those Scratches is obtained once you repair or attempt to repair a submarine. Buckets of Joy once you capture an Abyssal Chasm mob in a bucket. Captain Flakes is earned when you obtain marine snow. Pass the Wasabi is earned once you craft and obtain a deep sea sushi roll. A lighthouse in your eyes is obtained once you gain the deep sight potion effect. Another kind of slime is earned when you obtain bioluminescence. Surface or bust is earned when you obtain or craft a floater. Glow sticks is earned once you obtain or craft a bioluminescent torch. Bring forth the mollusk is earned once you obtain a mussel. Slurp up is earned when you cook a mussel. Diamonds of the sea is earned when you obtain a pearl. The shadows over mines craft is obtained when you spot a deep one stalking you. Order of Dagon is earned when you place a pearl on an abyssal altar. An understanding is obtained when you successfully trade with the deep one the first time. Nautical neighbours is earned once you trade a couple more times with the deep ones, whereby they no longer flee from you. All buddies now is a challenge where you trade even more with the deep ones, whereby they will defend you if you are attacked by an enemy. Powers of Poseidon is obtained once you gather the Sea Staff, Author Lance, Magic Conch, and the Gazing Pearl. After exploring and swimming out of the darkness of the abyss, we find ourselves in our last and even darker cave, known as the Forlorn Hollows.